Someone is watching this right now who is about to lose everything. You are about to hand over your house, your savings, your retirement, your dignity to a person who does not love you. They love what you have, and you will not see it coming because you do not want to see it coming. I spent 47 years as a family law attorney. Divorce, prenuptial agreements, financial settlements. I have sat across the desk from over 3,000 people whose lives fell apart because they did not listen to what I am about to tell you. Some of them recovered. Many did not. A few took their own lives. This is not gentle advice. This is a warning. If you are over 50 and you are thinking about getting into a new relationship, if you have been widowed or divorced and you feel that ache of loneliness pressing down on you, if you have started talking to someone who makes you feel seen and wanted for the first time in years, you need to hear this. Not tomorrow, now. Because the difference between financial security and financial ruin can be one wrong decision made when you were lonely. Let me tell you about a woman I will call Patricia. I cannot use real names, but Patricia was real. She came to me in 1993. Her husband had died 2 years earlier after a long illness. Heart disease. She had nursed him through it, quit her job to care for him, watched him fade away over 14 months. When he finally passed, she was devastated, but also, and she felt guilty about this, a little relieved. The burden was over. She could breathe. She had the house, which was paid off. She had his life insurance, about $250,000. She had his pension, which paid her $3,800 a month. By the standards of most people her age, she was comfortable. Not wealthy, but secure. About 18 months after her husband died, Patricia met a man at a grief support group. He had also lost his spouse. They started talking. He was kind, attentive, understanding. He called every day just to check on her. He brought her flowers. He told her she was beautiful. He said things her husband had stopped saying years before the illness. Things she had forgotten she wanted to hear. Within 6 months, they were engaged. Within a year, they were married. When Patricia came to see me, she had been married to this man for 14 months. She sat in my office and she could barely speak. She had given him access to the life insurance money because he said he had a business opportunity that could not miss. He lost $160,000 of it. She had put his name on the house because he said it made him feel like they were truly partners. He had taken out a home equity loan against it without telling her. She had added him to her bank accounts because he said he wanted to help manage the finances. The accounts were nearly empty. He had not hit her. He had not screamed at her. He had simply, methodically, taken everything while telling her he loved her. I got Patricia out of that marriage. It took 2 years and cost her most of what little remained. She ended up in a small apartment on Social Security, her comfortable retirement completely gone. She was 68 years old. She lived another 19 years, never fully recovering financially or emotionally. Every time I saw her at legal aid events, she had the same look in her eyes: shame. Patricia is not unusual. She is the norm. The FBI reported that Americans over 60 lost $4.9 billion to fraud in 2024 alone. That is billion with a B. Romance scams specifically cost over $1 billion. And those are just the ones people reported. Most do not report because they are too ashamed. But here is what the statistics do not tell you. Many of these predators are not strangers on the internet. They are people you meet in real life, at church, at grief support groups, through friends. They are men who seem wonderful and women who seem perfect. They are patient, they are strategic, and they are very, very good at what they do. I want to talk about something called love bombing, because if you do not know this term, you are vulnerable to it. Love bombing is when someone overwhelms you with attention, affection, and apparent devotion very quickly. They call every day. They text constantly. They tell you that you are the most amazing person they have ever met. They say things like, "I cannot believe I found you," or "I have never felt this way about anyone," or "You are everything I have been looking for." It feels incredible. That is the point. The human brain processes romantic attention like a drug, literally. The same reward centers that respond to cocaine respond to being adored. When someone love bombs you, they are triggering addiction pathways in your brain. You start to crave that attention. You feel anxious when you do not hear from them. You make excuses for small red flags because you do not want to lose the high. This is not love. This is manipulation. Real love develops slowly. Real love includes disagreement and negotiation. Real love involves seeing someone's flaws and accepting them, not being told you are perfect by someone who barely knows you. If someone is talking about forever after 3 weeks, that is not a person falling in love with you. That is a person working a strategy. Let me tell you about another client. I will call him Robert. Robert was a retired police officer, 64 years old. Tough guy, street smart, not the kind of person you would think could be manipulated. But grief makes fools of us all. Robert's wife died suddenly, a brain aneurysm, no warning. One day she was making breakfast, and the next day she was gone. Robert fell apart. He had never lived alone. He did not know how to cook or do laundry or manage the house. His wife had handled all of it. He was lost. About 8 months after her death, he met a woman at a bar. She was younger, in her mid-40s. She seemed fascinated by him. She asked about his career, his life, his late wife. She cried when he talked about his loss. She made him feel understood. She moved in after 3 months. She did not have a job, but she said she was between positions. She did not have savings, but she said her ex-husband had taken everything in the divorce. She did not have her own car, but Robert did not mind driving her places. Within a year, Robert had refinanced his house to pay off what she said were her debts. He had co-signed a car loan. He had given her power of attorney because she said it would be easier if she could handle some things while he was at his part-time security job. When Robert came to me, he had nothing left. The house was gone. The car was in her name. She had cleaned out his accounts and disappeared. He was a former police officer who had spent 30 years dealing with criminals, and he had been taken completely. I could tell you 50 more stories like this. I could tell you about the widow whose charming new boyfriend convinced her to invest in his construction company, which did not exist. I could tell you about the widower whose sweet new girlfriend ran up $80,000 on credit cards she had convinced him to open. I could tell you about the retired teacher who lost her pension to a man she met online who claimed to be a military officer stationed overseas. The details change, the pattern does not. Someone identifies you as vulnerable. Someone studies what you need to hear. Someone becomes exactly what you are looking for. And then someone takes everything you have. So how do you protect yourself? I am going to tell you exactly what I told every client who sat in my office before getting remarried. First, keep your finances completely separate. I do not care how much you love someone. I do not care how insulting they say it is that you will not put their name on your accounts. Your money is your money. Their money is their money. You can share expenses through a joint checking account that you both contribute to equally. You never, and I mean never, give someone access to your retirement accounts, your savings, your house, your investments. If they are offended by this boundary, that tells you everything you need to know about why they are with you. Second, move slowly. I know loneliness hurts. I know the desire for companionship is real and valid and human. But rushing into a relationship when you are emotionally vulnerable is like driving fast on ice. It feels fine until suddenly it does not, and by then it is too late to recover. My rule was always this: do not make any major financial or legal decisions regarding a new relationship for at least 2 years. 2 years. That is how long it takes to really see someone. That is how long it takes for the mask to slip. Third, listen to the people who love you. If your children are concerned, listen. If your friends are worried, pay attention. If your siblings think something is wrong, do not dismiss them. When we are in the grip of new love, or what we think is love, we cannot see clearly. The people around us can. If everyone who cares about you is saying the same thing, and you are convinced they are all wrong, you are probably the one who is wrong. Fourth, talk to a lawyer before you marry. Get a prenuptial agreement. I know it feels unromantic. I know it seems like you are planning for failure. But let me tell you something. In all my years of practice, I never once had someone come to me after a divorce and say, "I wish I had not gotten that prenup." Not once. I had hundreds come to me saying, "I wish I had." Fifth, understand what evenly yoked means. It is an old term. It refers to oxen pulling a cart. If one ox is bigger and stronger than the other, the smaller one gets dragged along while the bigger one does all the work. In relationships, especially later in life, being evenly yoked means being with someone who is in roughly the same financial situation as you. If you have substantial assets and they have nothing, there is an imbalance that invites exploitation. That does not mean you cannot love someone with less than you have. It means you need to be extremely careful about how you structure things. Sixth, watch for the warning signs. They call you constantly and get upset if you do not answer. They move the relationship very fast, talking about commitment before you really know each other. They have stories about how they were wronged, about exes who took everything, about bad luck that left them with nothing. They want to help you with your finances. They suggest you put their name on things. They try to isolate you from friends and family who express concerns. They are just what you were looking for, almost too perfect. If someone seems too good to be true, they are. I want to say something directly now. There is no shame in wanting companionship. There is no shame in being lonely after loss. There is no shame in hoping to find love again, even later in life. These are human needs. They are valid. They are real. But loneliness can make you blind. Grief can make you stupid. And there are people in this world who spend their lives perfecting the art of appearing to be exactly what a lonely person needs. I am not telling you to never date again. I am not telling you to close yourself off from love. I am telling you to protect yourself. I am telling you that the person who truly loves you will not be offended by reasonable boundaries. They will not pressure you to move fast. They will not ask for access to your money. They will respect your caution because they understand that you have things worth protecting. And if someone does pressure you, if someone does get offended, if someone does try to rush you, that is not love. That is a predator sensing that the prey is getting nervous. I practiced family law for 47 years. I thought I had seen everything. Then I retired, and I started volunteering with elder law clinics, and I saw it all again. The same stories, the same patterns, the same devastation. The details change, but the human weakness being exploited does not change. My own mother nearly fell for one of these people. My father died in 1972. She was 61. A man started showing up, helping her with things around the house, being so attentive. He talked about how lonely he was too, how much he missed having someone to share life with. He started talking about maybe moving in together, about how much easier things would be if they combined resources. I saw what was happening because I had seen it 100 times in my practice. I intervened. It was not easy. She was angry with me for months. But she kept her house. She kept her savings. She lived independently until she was 89. That is what I want for you. Independence, security, the ability to make choices from a position of strength, not desperation. I am 91 years old. I have outlived most of the clients I tried to help. I have had decades to think about what I witnessed in that office. And here is what I know for certain. Being alone is not the worst thing that can happen to you. Losing everything you worked your whole life for because you were lonely and someone exploited that loneliness, that is worse. Living your final years in poverty because you trusted the wrong person, that is worse. Dying ashamed because you were taken by a con artist who said they loved you, that is worse. Protect yourself. Trust slowly. Keep your money in your own name. Listen to the people who have known you for years when they express concern about someone who has known you for months. Get a prenuptial agreement. Do not rush. And if someone watching this is already in a situation that feels wrong, if you have already given someone access to your finances and something in your gut is telling you this is not right, call a lawyer tomorrow. Not next week, tomorrow. It may not be too late to save something. Do not become another story I could tell. Do not be Patricia or Robert or any of the thousands of others. You deserve better than that, and you are worth protecting.